Sandy Says Read, and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to do an unboxing of a bunch of books from the Sunshine State Book Festival. It was a pretty awesome day yesterday at the book festival. I sold a ton of books myself and then bought some. I bought some books so that we can read them, do reviews here on this channel. Some are themed for the themes that we're doing this year, and some are they just looked cool, so I got them. So we're going to talk about those a little bit here in a minute. But first, I want to encourage y'all to please subscribe to the channel. And you guys, please tell your friends who enjoy books and book reviews and random book stuff to also please subscribe to Sandy Says Read, because we're going to start a new game here at Sandy Says Read. The game is Guess Which Videos Were Filmed While Sandy Had a Raging Migraine. I didn't drink enough water during the festival yesterday or during my drive home. So yeah, there's a headache going on, but we've got to get this thing filmed. There's just a few things we've got to do today, or else my next trip is going to be difficult. You might notice that the setup here is a little bit different today. Trying something new. I think that I've got to do something about this window over here. I ought to just board it up. If you knew my neighbors, you would understand. I probably should just board up this window. I need to do something. I was sitting back here in this little corner. You know, this is where I usually do my filming. But I'm giving you guys some depth of field. Give me your recommendations in the comments below on what I should do about this corner that I film in. You can see my dragon. Whoops. The dragon over my shoulder. You can see the dragon in the background a little better now, but it's just kind of a mess. It is what it is. We're getting through. Y'all just get to watch my spiral into dementia. I forgot my charger in the hotel room up in Gainesville. So this morning, my first order of business was to roll out of bed and go to Walmart to get a new charger for my phone. That is charging in the other room. Yay, good. And the poor person at Walmart, I felt so sorry for her. They put this gal in the electronics section, the electronics department, and bless her heart, I'm like, can you help me please? And she's like, I don't know. I just need to get this thing off the shelf. You know, they put all the devices on these hooks that are like locked. You can't get the device off the hook anymore, right? I'm not going to turn this into a social commentary channel. I'm just saying that's the way it is in Walmart. And so I couldn't get it off the hook. It's only $17, but I couldn't get it off the hook. And she had a key, but she did not know how to use the key because they had not trained her on that. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I'm your pop quiz at 7:30 in the morning. I'm so sorry. But I told her I'm buying this. I'm not shoplifting it, so I can just yank it off of here. And that's what I did. I had not followed Gibbs' rule. What is it? Rule number 9? Number 13, to always carry a knife. I didn't have my knife on me because I didn't have my bag with me. I'm in between trips, so I didn't carry like the whole laptop bag full of all the stuff. So I didn't have a knife. I did not have any weaponry with which to remove the item from the shelf. So I just yanked it off of there and said, now, may I purchase this up front or do I need to do it here? We solved that. I wished her luck on her day. All right. The book festival. The book festival was awesome. The Sunshine State Book Festival, bringing readers and writers together. And I will say that is exactly what took place yesterday up in Gainesville. And when I learn the dates for next year's book festival, I will share them with you all because it was worth it. It was an awesome opportunity to hang with readers and other authors. I was at a table, and it is warm in this room. More of my ancientness coming through here. It was awesome at my table. There were 4 of us. Right next to me was Brooklyn. What was her last name? Hold, please. Brooklyn Quintana. Brooklyn Quintana was right next to me. And then on the other side of me was Elias. And then 2 seats down was R.M. Almonte. I've got it right here. I'm ancient. I forget everything, including proper nouns, okay? So R.M. Almonte was on the far end of our table of 4. And the 4 of us, we had awesome book covers. We had awesome pitches. Like, we knew our pitches for our stories, and we could rattle those things off. I mean, the four of us came prepared, and the four of us were like a powerhouse. It was amazing how much we were able to like push our messages and share and talk. And when one of us needed to like go do something, the rest of us could fill in. It was a good experience, and I enjoyed sharing the day with the other three at the table. It was very good. Very good. What else should I tell you about the festival? They had other things going on besides selling books to readers who came by. There were a lot of children's authors that were sort of in the lobby and the foyer outside of the main exhibit hall. And those children's authors, I mean, it was hopping all day for the children's authors. That was a really good thing to see because I love seeing people encouraging children to read. Awesome. And there were children's book readings going on throughout the day as well. It was just a really good experience. And I bought a bunch of books that we are going to talk about now. All right, well, let's just start with Dragonfire. And I know there's going to be a glare. Let's see if I can get the glare off of it. Since I've changed my lighting around, I'm not sure how the glare business is going to go. Dragonfire. Aren't these bizarre dragons, right? Because there's just a couple of dragons in a bar drinking. The premise behind it is by R.C. Tom, and these dragons are like benefactors to humans, right? That's the concept behind this, and I thought that was very clever. So I bought this one, and I want to read it and review it in our dragon content. So it's going in the Dragon Reading Challenge, and while I was talking with R.C., I don't know if I can use the actual name or if I need to use the pen name. So while I was talking with RC, this short story book came up as well. There's like Kurt Vonnegut themes in this one. So I'm excited to read these short stories. There we go. All right, there we go. Those are coming up in the near future. Then I found, as I was walking around, I saw this cover, and you know that Raven caught my eye, right? Okay, so Dreams of Desolation. This is the first book in the Raven's Conjuring, and I just picked up the first book. It's by Miguel Garcia, and this one is going to be like a paranormal horror story. This one's going to be kind of like a little ghost story. So I think this one I'm going to be able to relax on my TBR, put this one toward October. Okay, so I don't have to read this one right away. No pressure, right? So Dreams of Desolation with this gorgeous cover with a raven. This one's going toward October reads. Then I did pick up one for April and Poetry Month. This is At the Beginning of Yesterday by Tiffany Rose Allen. And this one has a book award from Literary Titan. Look at that pretty cover. Isn't that nice? I've covered up her name. Sorry. By Tiffany Rose Allen. She had this in a hardcover, like special edition looking thing too, but I was being cheap and I didn't buy the hardcover edition. I bought the paperback. But this, very nice. And the hardcover was very pretty. So if you guys are interested in collecting hardcover poetry, it is available in hardcover as well. But we'll be looking at that in April for sure. Then I picked up a couple books for February content. Like I don't have enough happening for February, right? But I picked up a couple books for February and Valentine's Day. You know, February's the month of love, so we're going to be talking about some romance books in February. And this is The Love Letter Ghost. Look at that. I've got a glare on it, right? The Love Letter Ghost by M.E. Saladino. And this one has two different cover designs. This is the original cover design. The next one that came out, exact same book, but it includes like a prologue and it includes like some book club questions. And you guys, if we want to come up with some questions, we can come up with some questions here on our channel, but I will read this one and bring you a review. Hopefully I will do that in February. We'll see how far we get. But the premise of this one sounded really intriguing because there is a couple that's engaged and they break off their engagement. And the guy sits down to write a letter with this fabulous pen that he felt led to purchase, this calligraphy pen, right? And a ghost takes over his writing of the letters. So it's The Love Letter Ghost. And I thought, well, that sounds great. You know, a little paranormal element to my romance reading is what I need. So that'll be neat. Now this next one, This is the quirkiest thing I saw all day. This is I'm in love with Mothman. This is this is just adorable, right? Look at this cover. Look, you see the Mothman in the background? This is by Paige Lavoie. And this, I started reading this last night actually, and I'm only up to page 16, but I'm intrigued. This is so clever. It's about an influencer who is just overwhelmed with social media, and so she gets a cabin in the woods. She buys this cabin and leaves the internet. She quits social media completely. She doesn't even take a picture of the place when she moves in, okay? And the back cover tells us that let's see. However, her cottagecore fantasy is turned upside down when a wounded cryptid crashes into her roof and her heart. So she falls in love with Mothman. And I'm reading this to talk about it in February here for the Valentine's Day content. But then I'm going to give this book to Michael Nost this summer when I see him at Imaginarium. Because Michael Nost wrote Return of the Mothman, which was made into a movie. And it's got contemporary stuff to it, but it also has a horror element to it, right? So this is, I have a feeling this is just going to tickle him. He's just going to find this crazy, funny. Yeah, so we'll talk about this here on the channel shortly, but then I'm going to be gifting that to someone this summer. Then, okay, so this next book is from one of my table mates from yesterday. This is called The Vessels by Anna M. Elias. And her business card just fell out of it. Okay, this is The Vessels. Okay, this is the first book in this series, and this is like a paranormal sci-fi series. Okay, there is a woman she's a vessel for spirits who want to come back and right wrongs from their past or from their lives, right? So there's just a very cool element to this. There's a very cool paranormal sci-fi element to this that I'm looking forward to diving into and reading. I have no clue how soon I'm going to get to it because it's not in any of the challenges that we're doing so far this year, but I'm dying to dive into this. There are 3 in the series that she had on her table. So I just picked up the first one because I don't know how soon I'm going to get to it. But I'm working on it, working on getting to all of these. Then the last one on my TBR pile here is this big, thick book. The fellow at the end of our table, R.M. Almonte, was telling Brittany and I that we had books that are self-defense weapons. I'm like, yeah, I can see that because The Choices Meant for Gods it's a pretty thick book. This is The 9 of Swords, and it is pretty thick. And this is by Brooklyn Quintana. This is her first book. The second book in this series it's out. It's available. It hadn't gotten there in time for the festival. I'm like, oh, I feel that. And then the third book in this series it's done and it's coming out this year. So the first 3 in the series are basically boom, 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 right? It's probably going to take me a little time to get into this one. This is a medieval tropical fantasy with monsters and mermaids and a prince who goes to an academy where he is just as likely to die in battle training as anyone else that's there. I mean, it's going to be like action adventure. It's going to be awesome and cool and great. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I just don't know how soon I'm going to get to it, but this will be good, and it will be a handful once I dive in. Okay, so there we go. Those are the books I picked up at the Sunshine State Book Festival yesterday. I think that's everything I need to tell you about it. It was a really good festival. It was a good event. You guys, it was gratifying to see that many people wandering around the tables, looking at books, perusing books, picking them up and reading the back cover. I had one gal who wanted the hardcover editions of the Choices series, the original Choices hardcovers, and I didn't take them with me because, that's the old stuff. No one ever asked for that. She wants the hardcovers. So she emailed me last night when I got home. There was an email from her. I'm like, all right, we're doing this. So I'm going to package them up and ship them to her. Yes, there are people who are so interested in physical books, the Kindle books, the hardcovers. There are people who are so interested in reading right now, and they were there in droves. yesterday, and it's so encouraging to see people are still reading. They're still wanting stories. And that is great and that is good. And we're going to talk about some of those stories here on this channel. So thumbs up for stories and still being just excited about stories. Please subscribe to the channel. Please click the bell notification icon so that you are notified when we talk about these stories. And thank you so much for tuning in.